It has nothing to do with the NRA. The guy was a convicted felon anyway, should have never had a gun. But wake up, Gavin. Criminals don't follow the law. Duh.
His name is Shamar Elkins. Authorities are calling this a result of domestic violence. The shooting happened at 6 this morning. The victims range in age from 1 to 14 years old.
We've more than doubled our homicides in the city of Shreveport because of one act of domestic violence. We as a community, black, white, Republican, Democrat, need to stand together and fight for what is right. This is nothing but pure evil.
All right, let's be honest. The cost of living isn't just high, it's exhausting. If you've been leaning on your credit cards lately just to cover basics like groceries, gas, and utility bills, you're essentially paying a survival tax, and that's 20% interest or more. Why keep handing your hard-earned paycheck to the big banks when you can keep it in your own family? My friends at American Financing have a better way. They're helping homeowners tap into their equity to pay off high-interest debt with mortgage rates currently in the 5s. On average, American Financing is saving their customers $800 a month. That's nearly $10,000 a year back in your pocket. It's not just a loan. It's a total financial reset. It takes just 10 minutes to find out what you could save. There are no upfront fees, no obligations to talk to a salary-based mortgage consultant. Here's the kicker. Start today, and you can even delay 2 mortgage payments. American Financing, America's home for home loans. 866-889-8010. That's 866-889-8010 or AmericanFinancing.net/Tatum. Louisiana shooting, which was absolutely horrific. Gavin Newsom put his foot in his mouth and his behind at the same time when he came out and made a statement online to say that this was NRA's issue. These people are so silly, and they don't understand what mass shooting means because they've already conditioned the brain to think of every mass shooting as a school shooting. A mass shooting is just 3 or more people getting shot at the same time. That's what a mass shooting is. And so every time in the hood, every day, there's a mass shooting. But they don't talk about that because it's not sexy enough. But when you're dumb and you're supposed to be the governor of an incredible state and you're too stupid to take the time and listen to what happened in this situation, this has nothing to do with the NRA. The guy was a convicted felon anyway, should have never had a gun. But wake up, Gavin. Criminals don't follow the law. Duh. So now that we got that out the way, let's get to the brass tacks of what really happened. This was a domestic violence situation where a father decided to kill all of his own children. Roll the clip.
Police say Shamar Elkins killed 8 children, including 7 of his own, in an execution-style shooting in Shreveport, Louisiana, early Sunday morning.
When he returned here, he began to execute children.
The incident started as a domestic dispute around 5 in the morning. According to police, Elkins shot a woman in the face at one house, then went to the house where his children were and shot another woman. Police say he pursued the children, even as some of them tried to escape.
Were they crawling out of windows to get onto a roof?
Yes, so actually this house right here that you see behind us, there's a window right above the garage. They actually climbed out of that window, we believe, and unfortunately one of the children was actually located deceased on the roof. So we are working to determine. We do believe that he shot the child while the child was on the roof trying to get away.
Police say the shooter then stole a vehicle from a driver at gunpoint and led officers on a multi-parish chase. When he stopped in a neighborhood and got out with a gun, officers shot and killed him.
Now, the story that I take from this, one of a very sad story, put that picture up there, of a story of a mentally ill lunatic, and you can just look at him in this picture and the other pictures, he's clearly out of his mind. He was out of his mind when he was bumping and grinding and pumping and sweating with either one woman or all these different women. And I'm not trying to be punitive towards these people, but man, you should be paying attention to who you're having kids with. This guy is crazy. He looks crazy. It's like he reminds me of people that I know, one person in particular in my family that was crazy and doing the rest of his life in prison because he's crazy. He tried to kill a guy at a grocery store, an armed robbery, and he ended up getting life in prison. And he did other stuff that nobody would ever know, and it'll go to the grave, but it involved killing other people. And this guy's crazy. A story of a horrific situation where they put all these babies in a position to be executed by a lunatic that they knew was a lunatic. And he got what he was coming to him at the end of his life. But also, this is another story that I hear of heroism and the heroic nature of police in this country. These men and women go out every day and put their lives on the line to confront evil like this person. And the evil is not just confronted at the traffic stop when they probably had the pleasure of smoking this guy like a brisket from the heinous things that he's done, but also when you have to go to the house and you have to see those children deceased and you have to see one deceased on a roof with gunshot wounds. This is not the movies. When you shoot a child with a gun, it is brutal. It is children are unrecognizable. And I'm not trying to be gruesome with you guys, but you're talking brain matter, guts, you're talking all kinds of crazy stuff that no person should ever have to see. And these police officers have to do this every single day. And after they leave this call, they don't get to go home and get to just chill. They got to come back and do it again the next day and the next day and the next day. And I want you guys to see an example of, and nothing against this lady, I understand her feeling. This is a city council member. Look at her emotional response, and I want you to consider in your mind that she did not go to the scene and saw deceased kids. She didn't see them deceased. She didn't have to pick the bodies up and put them in body bags. She don't have that trauma of having to shoot the guy who did this and having to put him in a body bag. And look at her emotional response. Roll the clip.
There are 8 children that are deceased. I can't be strong for you. I think about the mother and what this family has lost. I think about this community and what this community has lost. And I don't have the words to give you, and I'm sorry. I don't know what people think in the crevices of their mind to want to harm another human being, let alone that of children who have their whole life ahead of them. From what I've learned about this incident is that it's domestic in nature that makes it even more horrific for all the fighting that we do as it relates to this. And maybe you can stand strong with this, but I can't without shedding tears of traumatic pain. I pain and I grieve for this family. I grieve for the lives that are lost, and I'm asking you to please utilize every resource that the sheriff has brought forth now when you know that these situations occur. We cannot be and make this a joke. This is not a freaking joke. This is real, and this is the result when someone snaps. So I'm gonna ask the community, along with prayer, with every mental health consultant, counselor that is out here, this family and this community needs you. I need you. Because how do we get through this?
All right, thank you. I feel her pain in part. I've never experienced anything this horrific personally. I feel her pain, but I also feel the pain of those law enforcement officers too, because it is horrific to see that type of carnage and evil. I'll never forget the images in Uvalde where the officers that went into the building and ended up seeing all those kids, they were throwing up, they were crying, they were distraught. Because the average person have not seen what a dead person look like and what gunshot wounds look like on a human body. It's not cool. And I know people want to feel sorry for the family and everything, and I agree. I think we should. But we should also pray for these cops, man, that had to be exposed to this stuff. OME, that have to be exposed to this stuff. The people that work at the funeral home, the people that have to go and put these babies to rest or probably embalm them and try to make an open casket situation for these kids. It's terrible. It's sad. And you know what? To be honest, in a weird part of this, I'm glad the kids don't have to suffer anymore. Imagine living in an environment like that and suffering every single day. And I'm hoping these kids are in heaven with Jesus No more pain, no more suffering, no more dealing with their crazy parents who had no business doing what they were doing. And so I want to pray for their families. I want to pray for these cops that had to go through this very sad situation. And in part, I'm glad that justice was brought swiftly, and I'm glad that no other officers had to get hurt in this situation of a maniac with a gun.